YouTube has announced a new policy initiative. How will this affect content creators? And more importantly, for this channel, how will that affect Christian content creators? That's what we're going to take a look at right now. I'm going to play and react to an announcement video on this. And I'm going to give you my thoughts and also share something that I wrote as a response to this that I think should be taken into consideration. Let's go ahead and get started. This is an interview with the VP of Product Development, but before I play that, let's just keep in mind I started walking through this and I was a bit negative and I realized it wasn't recording the audio on my computer, so I had to restart everything. But there's kind of a reason for that. The cultural situation that we're in, I think, is affecting that. But here are the areas of community guidelines. This is what community guidelines cover. Okay, you get things like fake engagement, that'd be sub for sub, that'd be buying views, buying subscribers, that sort of thing. Impersonation accounts, there are a lot of impersonation accounts out there. The rise of AI and all the automated channels that are out there, certainly we can think of a lot of things that have nothing to do with the cultural and political climate that this can be addressing. So there's certainly all of that we can think of. But you've got spam and deceptive practices, a lot of things here. You've got your sensitive content. You've got your violent or dangerous content, regulated goods, and then you've got your dissenting YouTube's opinion content, dissenting YouTube's opinion policies here as well. So you've got a lot of different areas there. And just so you do know, there was something else I wanted to point out. I think it was some of the initiatives. Maybe I don't have it open anymore. Oh, it's right here. What types of dissent is not allowed on YouTube? What types of dissent is not allowed on YouTube? Well, these dissent policies apply to these types of dissents, and it has to do with, egregious real-world harm, such as promoting harmful remedies or treatments. There's different things it states. It states different things about other kinds of dissent. It states things about, this dissent here and that dissent there. There's an awful lot of dissent in the dissent policy that, of course, we see is not allowed. And that's just kind of how YouTube is. We know that's the way that it goes. But there is a community guideline system. And in that community guideline system, you get 3 strikes and you're out. If you violate a YouTube community strike, a community guideline policy, then you do get you do get a warning now. I guess you do get a warning, but then if you violate it again, you'll get a strike, and you get 90 days. Whereas you've got 90 days from there to where you better not get another strike. I think it's more severe or something. No, I think the strike goes away after 90 days is what it is. The strike goes away after 90 days. I'm speaking of the old system. And then, but anyways, 3 strikes and you're out, and you do have a time period when those strikes are removed. But let me go ahead and play this. This is talking about the new and updated system, and so we'll go ahead and play it. I just felt I needed to say a few things ahead of time because I'm going to have some thoughts I'm going to be providing throughout this. So let's go ahead and get it started.
Hello Insiders, I'm Renee Ritchie, your creator liaison, and today I am talking with Jennifer Flannery O'Connor. Jennifer, what do you do at YouTube?
I am the VP of Product Management for Trust and Safety at YouTube.
We just put up a blog post detailing a new initiative around policy, warnings, community guidelines. What is it and why?
At YouTube, we've always had community guidelines, which roughly outline what are the rules of the road for uploading content to YouTube. And we've always had what we call a strike system in place, which says if you violate our rules more than 3 times within 90 days, you're no longer going to be able to have a channel on YouTube. But the changes that we recently announced are a way to help teach creators more about what our policies actually are.
Sorry, that's just, wow, that's more severe than I thought. If you violate it more than once within the 90 days, that's channel termination. I didn't even realize it was that severe. I haven't ever had a community strike, thank God, but it's very severe once you do fall into that, especially when it's because of what you believe, which is typically the case with Christians. But there are other things, of course, that Christians do, which frustrates me because it when they do things and it's got nothing to do with belief, like they steal, they rip off people's content and put it on their channel. But oddly enough, you don't ever get a community strike for that. That's a different policy. That's a monetization policy. You can't monetize it. But as far as I understand, you do not ever get a community strike for doing that. You just can't be monetized. So that's different. Let's continue.
In the new system, you would get a warning that you violated our policies and an option to take a training course. If you decided to take that training course, you would get a bunch of questions that were specific to the general area of our policy that you violated to try to teach you about where the line is or is not. And also, if you don't violate that policy again in the next 90 days or is not.
I can't let it go on too far before I comment on that. I'm like, good. This is a good thing that you're going to actually be transparent about where the line is drawn. Because it's not just Christians that are frustrated at the lack of transparency a lot of times YouTube does have. And it's the algorithm that a lot of times is flagging people, and they're getting strikes, and they can't even, they're not even sure why. And some people in the comments on this video were saying, well, how about the timestamps? Can you just give us the timestamps in the video to which you're telling me that I'm in violation of? Because that's one of the things, is that people don't know what video it was, and they just get like a broad category that you're in violation of this broad topic, and that's it. And so they don't even know what video it is or what timestamp, and depending on the type of content, they might have an idea, but they never know for sure. And even this is not going to tell them what video it was that's in violation, and that's because a human may have never looked at it. And even when a human does, they don't have the decency most of the time to actually tell the person what video it is. Now, there's a lot of people to manage, I get that, but especially when you're getting to levels of like channel termination and that sort of thing, I think that would demand the decency of having human interaction.
And also, if you don't violate that policy again in the next 90 days, that warning would be completely wiped off your record.
So just to be clear, though, this update is about how the system works, right? We're not making changes to what is enforced on the platform?
Exactly. Our community guidelines themselves are not changing at all. And we still do feel it's important to have 3 strikes and you're out, meaning 3 strikes and you lose your channel.
And from the warning thing, the fact that if you violate a policy, you find yourself in violation of a YouTube policy, and you take one of those classes, then in 90 days you don't violate that again, that warning goes away, and there's actually the potential to if there was another violation down the road, 4, 5, 6 months down the road, to rather than get a community guideline strike, you would get a warning. So it does seem like they're trying to be more lenient in some ways, and I want to view it that way. But of course, I have my reservations with how this whole thing is going to play out.
Because creators who routinely violate our policies sort of make the community worse for everyone.
So could you walk us through exactly maybe what the differences are between the warnings as they were and what they're going to be going forward?
We actually introduced this concept of a warning a few years ago when we made some other updates to our strike system with the premise that, most creators are good and they actually want to comply with our policies if they knew. And so we're going to give them an extra chance. But in the old world, we just gave you that extra chance, the warning. We didn't actually give you any means other than if you wanted to dig through our very dense help center to understand, well, what are YouTube's policies and what did I do wrong? And when we launched that new system, we looked at the data, and actually what we saw is that 80% of creators who get a warning actually never go on to even get a first strike. And so that sort of underscores what I was saying before about, most creators are good and want to play by the rules. And so it's good for creators, and it's good for YouTube, and it's good for YouTube's viewers if people do know our rules and can comply with them. And so the thinking with this latest launch was, if with the warning, we actually could also provide a training to creators, they would learn more about what our policies were. And then, if they express to us that they really want to learn and comply in good faith, we should also give them an extra chance.
I love that, because speaking as a creator, we often don't look at something until we absolutely have to. And it's much better, I think, to learn about it in this kind of environment.
Let's say you're a creator and you upload a
Maybe he doesn't. Those that are more responsible do.
video that you didn't think violated one of YouTube's policies, but it does. In today's system and in the new system, the content would be removed. In today's system and in the new system, you would get a warning on your channel. The new thing is that now you will have an opportunity also to take a training. And the benefit to you of taking that training is you'll learn about what exactly was that thing that you did wrong that maybe you didn't know was against YouTube's rules. And also, if you don't violate that policy again in the next 90 days, the warning gets wiped from your record. So you have an opportunity to actually have a clean record.
Is this for creators who receive a warning going forward? Will this be available to all creators who maybe received a warning in the past?
It's actually available to both. So if you receive a warning on a go-forward basis, you have an opportunity to take a training. If you got a warning in the past and it's just sitting there on your channel, giving you anxiety, you now can take a training and have that warning get wiped away.
So just to be clear, it's not a warning for the entire totality of YouTube policies, it's per category now?
That's right. So not only do you get this extra chance, but we're going to try to teach you a little bit about what was the policy that you violated. And that's to help you avoid crossing that same line again. And then let's say you violate a policy in a different vertical, maybe because you didn't understand those guidelines. You again get an opportunity to take a training. And if you take that training and have a clean record for 90 days, again, that warning would go away.
And what happens if you do? Like if you do violate that same policy?
Yeah. So let's say maybe you violate our harassment policies and you take a training and then...
Notice how harassment is her example. I'm just pointing that out. May not mean anything, but there are 3 areas that I think generally Christians are under attack here. The harassment policy, because what is deemed harassment is usually biblical truth. Hate speech, because what is often deemed hate speech is usually biblical truth. And what YouTube deems as misinformation, because usually what is deemed misinformation is in direct overlap of proclaiming the truth of God's word. Just saying, as a Christian content creator.
And 30 days later, you violate our harassment policies again, you're going to get a strike. Your first strike.
I'm an optimist. I also believe that creators really want to do the right thing. And you said, 80% of creators don't really intend to offend. So why do we need to do this at all?
Our policies are not a static thing. Our policies need to evolve with the way risks in the world evolve. And so we try to update our policies to make sure that we're keeping our community safe. That's not always reasonable.
Yeah.
To expect creators to keep up with all of the internal updates that we're making to our policies. A lot of creators have actually given us feedback that despite the fact that they don't reoffend, they sort of live in fear of reoffending, and we don't want to stifle creativity.
Yeah.
We want creators to be able to express their creativity within the boundaries of our rules. But if they don't know what our rules are, which I would have a hard time what our rules were unless, somebody taught me them, it's difficult for them to know how to do that. So we think there's real value in giving people an opportunity to learn so that they don't have to live in fear.
I think it's also important to know whether creators who have previously been removed from YouTube could use this as a path to getting back on the platform.
Unfortunately, no. If you've violated our policies 3 times and your channel was terminated, this is not going to provide you a path back to YouTube.
So is this all available immediately, or is this going to be rolling out over time?
This will be rolling out over the next several weeks.
Jennifer, thank you so much. This is such an important update for creators. And thank you, insiders, for watching. As always, leave your comments right below the like button and keep it real.
All right, so that's the update. I think that's important for you to know. I think that's important for everyone to know. Every content creator, period, should be aware of some of these different updates that are going on, and certainly for Christian content creators, there are special navigations that we have, and if you've stumbled across this video and you're what you would say a progressive Christian or whatever else, you're not in the same category, I'm sorry. But, just, let me find my screenshot. This is what I said back to this. Let's see here. Switch screens. Okay, so I went ahead and commented on it. I said, thank you for the update and ability to hear about the new policy course initiative directly from the VP of YouTube product development. That was product management, I think, actually. It would be nice if the policy courses were made available to all creators so we would know ahead of time what the clear expectations are from YouTube. This would also be helpful for YouTube education channels to be able to accurately communicate about the new initiative. A creator could take a course in an area that they need more clarity on and have not been able to receive from the help section forum. I think that would be a helpful addition to the new initiative that allows creators who have received warnings to take classes. It would be more preventative. Thanks again for the update. What do you think? Do you agree with that? What do you think about that? I think that if we had the opportunity to actually take these courses ahead of time, whether you want to take a course or not, I'm just saying, like, if it was available, I would take them, because then you actually, I already know, like, I believe YouTube keeps their policies very arbitrary and vague on purpose, because sorry if you're not aware, I've seen what have happened to an awful lot of Christian channels out there, and it's once you get on their radar, and let's say you're on the radar at maybe more 10,000 subscribers or more. I don't know I think you're on their radar when you're just doing a lot of the talking about a lot of the controversial things they don't want you to talk about. And anyone gets on their radar when they talk about controversial topics. It's just, are you saying what they want you to say? Because if you're not saying what they want you to say, then you're in your channel is certainly in dangerous territory. And this is all the more reason to be setting up ways in which people can potentially donate if they feel led. To have some sort of product. It's if you're looking to put ads on your channel and have it monetized by YouTube, certainly that's a good thing. That's a good motive that you can make some money from doing YouTube, and you should pursue that. But you should also recognize just how quickly that can be taken away from you, like very quickly in a heartbeat. And so we really need to be wise about how we go about doing our content creation. Well, that's the update there. What this means for Christians, we're not really sure yet. We just know that, I know that I would like to see under some of these specific categories, like let's say the misinformation or the harassment or the hate speech, what some specific examples are, because it always deals with protected groups. Such and such is said about a protected group. Well, that's considered hate speech. That's considered harassment. And it's like so many things. The general definition of something has been changed, and it has a completely different definition. And so that's happening with this kind of stuff as well. Well, how do I encourage you? I don't know, but keep pressing in and making content for Christ. If you're following the rules, you should be perfectly fine. If you're not making very controversial content, this isn't going to affect you, and this really isn't going to affect any of us a whole lot immediately. But it's something to be aware of. It's actually, they're trying to make it would seem, to where there's a warning system in place where you could actually get that warning taken away. When you do get the warning, you have the option of taking the class or not taking the class. And if you don't take the class, then you won't get the warning taken away. And so it kind of is going to incentivize someone to take that training class, because if they don't take it and they have another violation within that 90 days, then they have a strike already. Whereas they could just have a warning and not a strike. So it would seem like it's adding an additional potential violation before reaching that, termination kind of phase. But again, we'll see how it plays out for conservative Christians. If you're new here, welcome to Get the Word Out. My name's Adam Markley, helping you get the Word of God out to the masses. I deal with the theology and practice of online ministry. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit the like button on this so it reaches more people. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next episode. If you're new here, go ahead and watch this. It's 3 reasons why I would go all in. I would go all in on shorts if this were to change. Go ahead and watch that now, and I'll see you over there.